What inspired your writing?
It's a long story, but writing, I began to read at a very early age. So I was enchanted by the books that I read, and the newspapers and the magazines and so on. So all I wanted to do really, from a very early age, was to be a journalist. Uh, and I became a journalist from even the last year of my secondary school. I began to write for newspapers. And then years later, I was invited to the US by Chinua Achebe to be the founding editor of a magazine that he and Professor Bat Naji set up in the US. And I did that for about 3 years. And after the magazine ceased production, I had a chance encounter with an American writer who was certain that I was writing a novel. And I said yes, even though I wasn't. So he asked me to provide 15 to 20 pages of my manuscript. I began to write furiously and produced 23 pages and gave to him. And that began my career as an author and a novelist.
Is this your first book tour?
This is my first book tour in Nigeria. I've been all over the world, book tours in Asia, in the US and in Europe and Britain. But this is the first official book tour in Nigeria. I've read in Nigeria before. I've read at Quintessence, where we are now, before. I had read at Jazz Hole. I had read at Bookworm. But this is the first time that I'm doing a tour of the country. So on this tour, I've done, with today's events, I would have done 4 events in Lagos. And then I would have visited, by tomorrow I'll be in Ibadan. Mm-hmm. So after my event in Ibadan, I would have completed the 6-city book tour.
Okay. How has the tour been for you so far?
It's been amazing. There's this perception that Nigerians are not interested in literature. My tour belies that perception because everywhere I've been, lots and lots of people have come out, Nigerians, expatriates, other Africans have come out. My books have sold out in most of the venues, including last night in Abuja. And so the story has been one of just great success.
So how did you come up with tour locations and dates for this?
Well, I talked with my publishers, and they basically arranged the readings in Lagos, as well as the one in Ibadan. And then the Yaradua Foundation, Yaradua Center in Abuja, and the Abuja Literary Society proposed an event in Abuja. I wanted to do an event in my home state. I had read there in 2014, and it was a huge success. So we did that again, and so it was a combination of my initiative, my publishers' initiatives, and some other groups that wanted me to show up.
What new knowledge, new impressions, new ideas are you leaving the tour with?
Well, I'm leaving the tour with the clear idea that literature is vibrant in Nigeria, that there is a passion for literature, for writing, that there is a hunger by lots of Nigerians for good writing. And that the reading culture perhaps is having a renaissance, a resurgence in Nigeria, and that's really good. There are all kinds of pressures in Nigeria. The pressures to find the money to pay your bills, or to find the money to buy another car or some other material thing. So in the midst of all of that struggle, it has impressed me that Nigerians really are invested in reading and in literature and want to come out in great numbers to listen to a writer.
So now you're almost concluding the tour. What is next for you?
What's next for me is that I'll go back to the US where I'm based and continue to write, and I'll start teaching at the end of August. I'm working on another novel, so I'll work on it with as much vigor and sense of urgency as possible, because I see that I have I have an audience that wants to read from me, and I want them to hear from me.
How soon do you want to restart your popular column?
Not in a hurry. No, I'm not in a hurry to restart my column. I've been writing since 1999. And so I took a break in March of this year, March of 2017, and I'm enjoying it. In some ways, Nigeria becomes a sickness for you. The problems of the country weigh down on me quite a bit. And so I'm actually enjoying my sabbatical from writing that column, you know, so I can just joke and travel and have some good food and wine for a change. So I've been invited by a newspaper to start a different newspaper to restart my column, but I said I'm thinking about it, but I'm not in a hurry.
Okay. What advice would you give to writers who want to write to address the social problems in Nigeria?
They should write to address the social problems of Nigeria. My advice to writers always is to write. Don't say you're a writer but you haven't found the time to write. Somebody who hasn't found the time to write is not a writer. A writer writes. So my advice to writers is simply get to it and write. Yes. Thank you very much.